It was a few weeks ago that the hay bales started creeping slowly away from the house. Every morning when I woke up, each had moved a few hundred feet from where it began. I assumed it was the pranksters with nothing better to do, so I ignored it. Within a few days, though, the bales began to approach the boundaries of the farm. I was tired of the whole game by then, and decided to move them back. It took a tedious hour to bring them from all where they were and to over near the house again. And by the time I was done, I was ready to snap the neck of a little pissant was deciding to screw with me. The next morning, I found each and every one of my horses messily decapitated. The smells woke me up. Each one was slumped over the side of its wall. There were no signs of the heads. I spent the rest of the day cleaning up the mess and burying the remains. It was only when I was done that I noticed the bales of hay had all returned to the positions from the day before, scattered far out into the fields. This time, I left them where they were. That night, I sat on my porch with my shotgun in my hand and a pot of coffee on the table beside me. I sat for hours, straining my eyes into the fields to catch a glimpse of who was moving the hay bales. Finally, I was beginning to nod off. I would have, just as my eyes began to close, I heard a clamor and a rustling of trees in nearby woods. I leaned forward, my heart racing with excitement. I was going to catch the bastard. I fumbled with my gun and fidgeted in my seat, waiting anxiously for whoever it was to get close enough to ambush. It was only then that they got close enough for me to make out its silhouette in the dark. Then it was frozen still. The thing that crept into my fields from nearby woods didn't seem to notice me sitting there. It stalked, hunched, deliberate through the field with the posture of a tiptoeing thief. If not for the fact that it must have towered over 10 feet tall, even in its crouched position, it made it almost seem frail. The thinness of its arms and legs, and the emaciated, carved-in quality of its chest reminded me of a starving animal. Still, this thing was undeniably strong, and I watched it hoist each bale up onto its arm with ease and set it down carefully a while away, taking only a few strides to cover the distance. I watched it work, moving each bale thoughtfully. Every once in a while it would straighten up to look at the other bale's position in the field before adjusting the one it was working on ever so slightly. Before it left, it looked towards the house. I felt its eyes sweep over me in the dark, but whether it saw me or not, I couldn't tell. Then, it turned silently and crept back the way it came, disappearing into the dark of the woods. It took me an hour before I had the courage to move at all. I went inside after a while, but didn't get sleep that night. It was only when the sun rose that I dared step off my porch into the fields. The hay bales were where they had left them. Strangely, it didn't move them as far as it had the previous days. They were approaching something invisible in the fields, and as I looked at them, I realized that they all seemed to be marking some line. Indeed, as I walked around the house, I saw a distinct circle that they formed with me at the center. At first I thought the bales were just being haphazardly moved away from the house, but now I could see them instead being moved towards some boundary. The thing was sending a message. I slept uneasily that night, only because I was exhausted. The next morning, the bales hadn't moved at all. They didn't move at all for the rest of the week, in fact. They were finally within one of them. I made myself sick trying to interpret them. Why would this thing expend so much energy moving my hay bales and throwing me such violence? Should I try to interfere? Killing my horses was just that. A threat. An intelligent threat at that. It knew what would scare me, and I knew I would understand the implication. The sound of an automobile working its way along the road to my farm one morning gave me a little rush of excitement. I'd been planning to abandon the farm since I saw the thing. I couldn't hope to leave on foot without risking it treating me like it treated my horses. But if I could get in the car with whoever was coming my way, I might be able to escape before it could stop me. I didn't know or care who it was. I decided the moment they stopped the car, I would jump in the passenger seat and tell them to get the hell out of here. I didn't get the chance. The car worked its way slowly along the road, trundling across the uneven ground. I urged it to silently hurry. It was when it passed between the two bales placed on either side of the road, I began to hear a booming clatter from the woods. The thing burst suddenly from between the trees, sprinting on all four of its terrible, gangly limbs towards the car. Within a few seconds, it was there, pouncing on the automobile like a predatory cat. Within moments, it was picking and peeling the vehicle's steel frame apart, working to get at the driver. The man, whoever he was, screamed all the while. I could hear him even over the crunching metal and the shattering of glass. It was only when the thing crushed carelessly in his hand that the screaming stopped. It tossed him away and straightened up to look at me once again. In the sunlight, I could see the inhumanity of it. It was composed entirely of something awful and alive, which was lashed together in a messy semblance of a human form. Whatever it was made of, it looked so polished and hard that if it weren't for the minute writhing of the stuff, I would think it was made of granite. The thing retreated back into the woods, and I was left to my shock. My eyes wandered toward the car sat, the engine still sputtering, pulling two of the hay bales. Suddenly, I understood the message was clear. I am this thing's captive, and I am not allowed visitors. Nothing may cross the borders it has set. I am trapped here by the thing that stalks the fields. I have demanded nothing except that I never leave. Still, I don't know if I can handle being that thing's canary. I've been thinking hard for the last few days since I saw it crush that man's chest. I'd silence him before he could finish his scream. If I crossed the hay bale border, it'd probably do the same. It'd smash my skull before I could even put my hands up to protect myself. It'd go and find a new pet, and probably keep looking until it finds someone who could stand knowing that it was waiting just outside, watching it at all hours, with its shiny, insect eyes. I've been thinking hard for the last few days, and I might just make a run for it.